I remember getting a cancellation notice in the mail from my insurance company. There's a lot of things that people don't tell you about workers' comp insurance or just what a cancellation notice does to a business, especially a business that's receiving federal or state funding. Number one, you gotta have workers' comp insurance in order to be in compliance with your contract. And so you may be asking yourself like, so Tim, what did you do? You got the notice. Your insurance is canceled. Well, that's when I reached out to my insurance agent and asked them the same question. What do I do? I need insurance to keep my contracts, to keep my business open. I got some good news and some very disturbing news. The good news was, Tim, we can get you insurance. The bad news was, it's gonna be insurance with the state. Now you may be asking, well, that don't sound like it's a bad deal because you get an insurance, but with the state insurance, my premium tripled. When you have 37 employees and your premium triples and you're already robbing Peter to pay Paul, how do you stay afloat? It was just by the grace of God that we were able to do so. If I would have had if our business was in position to have its own captive insurance plan, you may be asking, well, what is captive insurance? Well, captive insurance is insurance funded by the business, meaning it's a legit insurance, but you had the cash to actually implement the insurance plan for the company. What it sounds like. Yes, you're right. You're self-insured at that point. A captive insurance plan allows your business to be self-insured by the business. It's really for the wealthy or the well-off, I should say. But that was one way I could have avoided this debacle. Another thing that I learned from this was I need to make sure that I educate my staff on what to do inside of a workplace to be safe. We could have taught them safety courses. We could have registered them for any type of seminar that would have given them a better explanation of how to work safely in our environment. There's a lot of training out there that you could be giving your employees right now about being safe at the workplace. And I'm telling you, you need to do it, because what you will have proof of is the sign-in sheet that says that they took the training. You will have the actual guide or course showing that you registered for it or they registered for it. You have the payment showing that you paid for it. These are all things that will help you when a workers' comp case come about, because your attorney who's representing you, because you have a workers' comp for a reason. It's because you don't have enough money in your business bank account to pay for any claim or any judgment against you. So you have workers' comp, and they hire an attorney who's going to ask you a bunch of questions about what you've done to prevent this from happening. And what can they use as leverage? Do you have a sign-in sheet? Do you give them training? And how often do you give them training? I can tell you this, it'll be great to give them training at least twice a year. At least twice a year. In some industries like construction, you'll want to do a safety training every single month, because that will save you thousands of dollars. I can't tell you, the reason why we got canceled is because the claim was so large. When I say large, I mean $300,000. Yes, our workers' comp insurance plan paid an employee $300,000. It can happen to you. It happened to me. So I want to help you stop this from happening. We need to be more educated. I'm here to educate you, and this is what we're doing. The lesson in all of this is to always have a contingency plan. Things will never go as planned, so you need to have a plan A, B, C, D, who name it. Just be ready, to pivot. And remember this, when your plan fails, God got you. He definitely had me. So what I want you to do is right now, review your current workers' comp policy. Don't wait till later. Don't say I'm gonna get to it. No, I want you to do it right now. Review your policy so you know exactly what can happen if the worst happens, which is a claim gets filed. Listen up. I remember being the owner, the firefighter, and the janitor until I learned the power of delegation. I remember being that business owner. Maybe you remember this too, or maybe you're doing it right now. You're trying to wear every hat possible in the business because you feel like they can't just do it like I want them to do it, or they can't do it as good as I can, and you're killing yourself. You know, I remember working early mornings and late nights and still not making like huge headway. Stop it. You know, if I try to tell myself, stop it, Tim. You can't do it by yourself. Delegate, even if they can only do it 80% as good as you can. 80%. Yes, I'm okay with the 20% being gone because the 80% frees me up to do much more important things as a business owner. And then I can teach the other 20%, you know, through trainings, through any other method like that. So delegate is what I've learned to do. And I must admit, I do it pretty good now. You know, I'm pretty good at delegating. Just ask my team. All right, let me explain something. Let me tell you why being the bottleneck kills growth. Because if everything has to run through you, everybody in the company stops. You hear that? Silence. Everyone in the company stops because they're waiting to be told what to do because you didn't empower them to make decisions. So if everybody gets quiet and they stop and they wait, the company is not growing. You will have silence in your company. All right. So empower people. Remember, the lesson here is you're building leaders, not dependencies. You're building leaders, not someone who needs to be dependent on you for every single thing. You always know I have something for you to do. What I want you to do right now is to discover who on your team needs to step up. And when you identify that person, give them room to step up. If you want people to take care of your business, give them a reason to take ownership. Let me tell you how I did that with my team. They were struggling. Everybody was pointing the fingers. This person's not doing that. This person here is not good at their job. They're bringing complaints to me about another employee. And to be honest with you, I just got tired of it. I said, what can I do? You know what? The person who's complaining, because it's usually the same person, maybe they have leadership qualities that I had to give them room to explore. So I said, you know what? You're going to be my lead. From now on, you're going to be the supervisor over this group of people. And I want you to report to me about X, Y, and Z. You know, there's a number of things that I had them to do, but I gave them the power to make decisions. And I put them as the point of contact when things went wrong with that group of people they were complaining about. And it changed the culture. People started dressing differently because they took on a new position. They arrived to work with a different attitude. The culture changed. Surprisingly, the people who they were leading looked up to them and they got good results from their leadership. Man, such a beautiful moment. I could tell you my office was finally at peace. I didn't have people storming in all the time, telling you about what's going wrong, what's happening. It was like, I figured it out. I need to empower people to lead. And I promise you, it will change your culture. What I figured out is giving someone authority without responsibility can create resentment within the organization. So you always want to make sure whoever you're giving the authority to, that you also give them clear responsibilities on how to act, how to manage. In other words, give them a training, okay? Remember, stewardship creates loyalty. If you give someone an area in the business to steward, they will be loyal. They will be your diehard employee who will go down with the ship, who will go down with the captain. That's the first mate, I promise you. As always, I want to leave you with something. I want you to look at who you can promote within your company to leadership. Find out who that person is and then train them like you have never trained the person before. Training them like you're leading the company. See what results you get. You will be surprised how a uniform and a photo shoot can change how people show up to work. I remember when the idea came to mind, people were wearing whatever they wanted to wear to work, and you can feel the distance that they had with one another and even leadership. So I talked with the board and I asked them, I said, you know what, should we give them uniforms? And we came up with an answer, and the answer was yes. And we gave them, no, I think when I thought about it, yes, this is what we did first. We actually had a designer, a graphic designer, to design a logo that we would use on the uniform. And they came up with like 3 different designs, and we took a poll and we let the team choose the logo that will go on the shirts, that will go on the cards, that will go on the website. We rebranded our company with our employees' help. Man, such a great thing that we did there. It made people excited. And so we purchased the shirts, had them embroidered, and we gave them out to everyone. The smile that they had on their face was unbelievable. I mean, I just didn't know that this is what providing a uniform shirt would do to an employee. But I want to take it up a notch. I said, let's do a photo shoot. And when you put people in front of a camera with the uniform that they're proud of, and they get all dolled up, get nice haircuts, get nice hairstyles, and you put that image on the website of them that they can share with their loved ones, their friends, it does something. And I was happy that we made that decision. The lesson that I learned here was that professional identity starts with perception. If they look professional, feel professional, they will identify with being professional. So there's something that I want you to do. You remember this is a little thing. I want you to brand your team members like they matter, because they do. Okay, so I want you to take some action here. The action is, I want you to brand your team like they matter, because they do. Sometimes the hardest people to manage are the ones who share your last name. I had some of the most difficult time working with family members who I'm sure didn't probably feel that they were being difficult, but they were. It just made my job 10 times harder. The reason being because I cared about them. I love them. Work tension with a family member looks different than work tension with a non-family member. I had to manage my mother. My mother, I love her dearly. She raised me, but I was her boss. I was her superior. My mother had a problem being late, and I just didn't know how to address this. You know, I said I have to address it because everyone is seeing it and it's affecting the organization. And people know that she's my mother, and they're gonna see if she can be late, that means I could be late. And if I'm late, why are you complaining about me being late if you're not complaining about your mother being late? So I brought my mother in. I can tell you it was one of the easier conversations that I've had with a family member, but it still was a difficult one. You remember I said, I'm not gonna tell you all the stories about the different family members, but my mother, I will. You know, she sat down, she said, Tim, you know I'm sick, you know I got this going on, I got that going on. I said, I understand, but you have to show up on time. You are a leader here. She was a director over a facility. And so I needed her to lead by example. Very difficult conversation, very challenging. She, raised her eyebrow, but she respected me enough to say, okay, I will do better. All right, so I want to talk about another topic around this family business and managing family members. Loyalty versus performance and how to draw the line. So I had some loyalty from some family members, some I did not. I had some employees who were top performers, and I had some that were not. So which one should you lean more towards? A top performer or someone who's giving you a great deal of loyalty? The answer might surprise you. You want to deal with the top performer, because at the end of the day, no matter how loyal a person is, if they're underperforming, your business will never grow. You will never reach the top. You will always be frustrated because they love you, they care, but they just don't have what it takes to help you build. You need top performers to help you build. Always go with the top performer. It's gonna be tough, but trust me, you would have made the right choice. Just because you honor someone or they honor you doesn't mean that you should compromise your standards. So there's something that I want you to do. I want you to put your standards in writing, especially for those who are closest to you, especially if you have a family member working for you. Put your standards in writing and don't compromise them. Let the standard speak for itself. It should never change, whether they're blood or not. All right, here's a good one. We turned jobs into careers with only one move, and it wasn't a raise. I thought about giving a raise because that's what corporate America teaches you. That's what everyone teaches you, but not everyone is a small business and not everyone is an entrepreneur. And so I said, man, what can we do? Because raises are permanent and they have huge effects, especially on the budget and on costs. So I said, we got to find some way to give them something that they will value. Someone told me that, Tim, you should look into a 401k. Now, when you think 401k, you think really big. It's like, oh, 401k, retirement money, something that should be taking care of them when they finish working here. How can I afford that? Well, come to find out, starting a 401k it's probably one of the most inexpensive things that a business owner can do. You wouldn't think that, wouldn't you? I didn't. I learned something new, and I asked the employees, how would you feel if I offer you a 401k? Tim, I would love that. You know, I always worried about my future. I wondered if, I'm gonna have money set aside for me, or will I just have Social Security to pull from? And so that's what started it. I said, we're gonna offer a 401k, and it changed the culture. Small steps signal long-term vision. When taking the small step of starting that 401k, I help my employees see their future. A future where they were just not pulling from Social Security, but a future where they put money in and we put money in, and they know that something was being set aside, something was growing. So I want you to take this action here. I want you to invest in your people, because I promise you, they will invest back. Identify what they would value and see how you can implement it. Start doing the research now. How much does it cost? How do we structure it? How do we present it? And see it change lives for the employees that work for you.